Hey VGA crew, Mike Amari here with the question of the week. Question of the week, of course, was what interesting or weird connections do you have with famous people or the entertainment industry? Now, being as my answer to the question last week is what kind of kicked this off, because of course my uncle was creating Rem Lazar. I'm going to share a story from the other side of my family. We have this story we like to tell every Thanksgiving or every holiday about how Grandpa once kicked the Fonz and Rocky out of the house. You see, back in 1973-74, there was a low-budget movie called Lords of Flatbush being shot on Flatbush and the surrounding area in Brooklyn. This is around the area where my father grew up with, my aunt and his parents, and also where we wound up growing up for most of my youth. So now the movie itself was about, that 1950s nostalgia for being a kid and a teenager that Chris likes to shit on so much, because there were so many of them made. And this movie was no different. It was a coming-of-age story about a bunch of street toughs, leather jacket-wearing punk kids who were coming up in the mean streets of Brooklyn. And so that means you needed leather jackets, you need nice haircuts, and you also need really nice classic cars. Now, if you watch the movie, there's actually only about 4 or 5 cars they use in every single scene to make it look like 1958 Brooklyn. Those cars were supplied by the person who was dating my aunt at the time, who would then go on to become my uncle. He's still the go-to guy to go and get classic cars at a nice price. He was able to find 4 or 5 cars that they used in the entire scene, which means that they would occasionally have to come to him for the keys. One day, they needed to get the keys from him, and he wasn't available, so he left them with my aunt. She was going out, so she left them at home and basically told her father, hey, make sure you drop these off when guys come looking for them. Now, my grandfather was a World War II veteran, Army, boots-on-the-ground sort of guy, old-school Italian. Like, he was super proper, super clean-cut. So when 2 guys looking like the most thugged out 1950s guys you can imagine come knocking on the door and asking, hey, yo, where's Linda? We're coming, like, asking for his daughter. He was less than happy, and he proceeded to yell and curse and shout and basically scare off Henry Winkler and Sylvester Stallone from the stoop. See, they were the 2 leads in the movie, and they were the ones who were told to go get the keys. So yeah, we like to tell the story about how Grandpa threw Rocky and the Fonz off of the steps of his house. So that's my story for this week, guys. Thank you for listening to me this week. I look forward to being with you again next week.